That been your experience too?
Yeah, 100%. And we actually talked about this when we talked on my show, but I tell people that the hardest exercise that we have to do on a transformation journey sometimes is taking that finger of blame and that personal responsibility. And, we can't be pointing at other people and say, my parents raised me this way, or, my husband or my wife did this, or they cooked the wrong thing, or my job is
Right.
so stressful. We have to point that finger back at us and accept personal responsibility for our situation and be like, I'm a grown adult, and what I put in my mouth is my decision now, and that's about to change, and because I'm worth it. And we realize that that's the real thing, is I'm worth it. The people who need me to be around for a long time and be healthy are worth it. So let's start taking action in line with that.
Right, right, exactly. So I'm a little bit curious. So you were healthy weight until you were about 18. And then it's like we go to college because I had the same. I mean, I was overweight, probably 10, 15 pounds, 20 pounds when I got to college, and then all that food and everything. Yours turned into obsession, which we know what that is. And people out there that are obsessed with food know what Adam is talking about when he talks about consuming all those calories. Because I could do the same too. It would be like a binge, and I'd go crazy. And then the voice in my head would say, well, tomorrow. So I've got to eat everything tonight, because everything that's not nailed down, because tomorrow I'm going on the diet. What
Right.
do you think that, because yours happened at 18, whereas I had roots of being teased as a child, which I can go back to and think that's where I began to not feel worth it, and to feel like I was almost programmed to be overweight from my brother. So what do you think caused you to go into an obsession at 18?
I think a lot of it was just the newfound freedom for me
Right,
of,
right.
we're out there and nobody, I was so, being in Indiana, basketball is like life in Indiana. And I grew up, doing a lot of basketball. I was playing basketball year round, very structured, very organized, and just not having that hanging over me all the time and not having to be
Mm,
practicing all the time and all, like, I just kind of relaxed a little bit. And that was basically 4 years. And then once that boulder starts rolling down that hill, it's hard to stop,
right,
So it's
right.
just that little, like, okay, I'm going to relax and cut loose a little bit. And then it just fed the momentum in the wrong direction. And it went fast, Lorraine. I mean, and you know how it happens. And we both see people that are in negative momentum right now, and it's hard to stop. And we get in our head about it too. And that's the worst thing, is we get into the, well, I used to be able to da 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 da, or I should be able to, or I'm not there yet, but I should be, and we beat ourselves up, and that doesn't help us reverse our momentum at all. So that's why my people like you and I are out here, firing people out, right?
Right, right. And your catalyst was watching The Secret, because then you began to realize you could change your destiny. So, for somebody listening today, this could be your catalyst, just listening to Adam today, because what he did was take a hold of his life, mapped out, which I love. And I love the analogy, what you said about action, is you have to be in action. We can want it all we want all day long, but until we take action, there's no progress. So, Adam, what do you say to somebody out there that just goes, um, I have tried over and over again. Um, I just one of those people, because I believe this myself. I'm one of those persons that's destined to be fat. I just must have different genes. What do you say to that person who really doesn't believe that there's any hope? Because you and I both know there's hope. If we can do it, if Adam and I can do it, you can do it. So give that person out there that's just hanging on by a thread and wanting to give up, give them some hope.
Yeah. So, and this is one of the hardest things to do, because I tell people, I'm like, you can borrow some of my energy and some of my why and some of
Mhm.
this fire I've got. You can borrow it until you can build up your own momentum, but eventually you have to want this every bit as much as I do. And
Exactly.
that's a hard thing for some people. Especially at my gym, when I get people in person, Lorraine, I get a little bit rowdy, and I've drawn a few lines in the sand. I'm like, listen, here's the line in the sand. You come across it, I'm going to save your life. You don't, things are looking bad. You got to make that choice right now. And when you're dealing with people that are morbidly obese, I mean, that's an intense decision. But, thankfully I've helped 15 people in my hometown lose over 100 pounds, and we're helping a lot of
Wow.
people. But, as a coach, I'm willing to make sure that I am able, I tell people that I will tell you what you need to hear, which isn't always what you want to hear. Right. And
Right.
that's kind of what I'm telling your audience right now is, what we have to do is level up our why. Right. The why, if we look at I've got an 8-year-old son who's obsessed with Legos. So if we're going to stack Legos, 2 different stacks, the stack of our why has to be higher than the stack of all the why nots combined. The combined force of all the why nots, we have to be able to combat that with a giant why. And we have to go deep with that. We have to find the emotional reason of why we want to live a long and healthy life, and who needs us to be around, like I talked about earlier. And if we can start with that why, then that's when the momentum starts to happen, because we are now motivated to get off our butt and get into action.
Right, right. Well, you know what? That's very powerful. And then something that you alluded to is you do coaching, and sometimes I think that coaching is important because of accountability. Now, the way I've lost my weight was through Weight Watchers, and I will guarantee you that I would have not been able to continue to keep it off if I didn't go in there and be accountable once a week and meet my buddies. Uh, so tell us a little bit about your coaching, and we've named this show called the Million Pound Mission. Tell us about the Million Pound Mission, and then a bit about your coaching, because I am certain there's somebody out there that they may know their why, but they need somebody to be accountable to.
Yeah. So, the Million Pound Mission is rooted around my podcast. So that's something that I do a couple times a week, the Million Pound Mission podcast. And we're literally tracking it. Like Lorraine said, where are you at? She knows that I track it, and you guys can go. So if you hear something and you're not hiring me as a coach or anything, like you just hear something today and you implement and you lose 7 pounds, go on to millionpoundmission.com, donate those pounds. I need them. I'm never going to get to 1 million pounds if you don't donate them. So, and there's no opt-in, there's no barrier of entry. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to give me your email or anything. You can just donate that weight loss, and you'll see it go right into the mission, and it's super cool. And then you're a part of something. And that's a big part of my coaching, is that I want to make sure you feel you're a part of something, because that's what a lot of people are lacking. They feel like they're out there. I got myself into this mess. I got to get myself out of this mess. I hear that so often. It drives me crazy, because that's not the easiest way to do this. We need accountability, like you mentioned earlier. We need community, and we need to always operate from a rock solid game plan. No program hopping and saying, oh, Monday I'm on Weight Watchers, and Wednesday I'm kind of doing some keto-ish thingies, and then, cheat days. The rest of the day I'm starting again on Monday. So that's where I come in. And I have clients that are on Weight Watchers. I have people that do paleo, keto, intermittent fasting, vegan, vegetarian, jazzercise, CrossFit, bodybuilding. And my key is creating that support system and making sure that I'm not so worried so much about what food is on plan or off plan. I'm worried that you have a plan, and we always operate from a plan. You have accountability, and you've got that rock solid, that community surrounding you to support you and keep you going. So those are the principles that my coaching is all about. And you guys can, if you go to millionpoundmission.com, you can check it out.
Well, and what I like about it too is I have fiddled around with your site, but I haven't donated my pounds, and I just realized that I can donate them. And I want the audience to understand that you don't have to be with Adam's program or anything to donate your pounds. You can be on Weight Watchers and donate your pounds. So I'm going to be donating my 120.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yes. And then also, like Adam said, if you are not up for coaching yet, or you cannot afford coaching, at least go on a site and then go on to his podcast. I've listened to a few of them, and they're fantastic. So that you can listen to his podcast, because what you need to do is surround yourself with positive stories about weight loss, about your whys. And once you start surrounding yourself with the positives. Like Adam said, he didn't use the word debt. And I don't use the word, I went to use the word this morning, overwhelm. And I thought, Lorraine, you don't use that word. I'm fearful. I'm not using those words anymore. I have to catch myself, because when we do that, we feed into this negativity and we can turn around. I have a lot to do, but I'm not overwhelmed, because it happens one step at a time. And so I think that we need to change our language, which is good. And when we start to do that, I want to remind you that what happens is, there's a science behind this. You begin to visualize, not visualize, but you begin to see things in your environment that actually feed on that positive thing that you're putting in your life. Just like Adam says, it almost turns the lights on because you are more aware. Have you found that in your life too?
Yeah, 100%. It's just being able to see what's in front of you and be able to react to it rationally instead of emotionally. It's pretty amazing. So that's what it's all about.
Yes. And tell me, what is different in your life because you've lost the weight? What's different for you? You and tell us that you have a wife and a couple children, or
yeah. I mean, with me, I feel like I am leading by example, and I've leveraged my own story to be able to help a whole lot of other people. Now it's 55,000 pounds worth of people, which I feel pretty cool about. And when it comes down to it, on my last day on this earth, I'll know that I've made an impact, and that gives me a good peace of mind. It's a pretty special feeling. So I live every day on fire, and I hope to lend a little bit of that fire to your audience here today. I hope they enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you were in your 20s, you were beginning to have health issues. What were those issues? And do you have those health issues anymore?
No, I was mainly dealing with like anxiety, blood pressure issues, things like that. And that was something that it was, scary, but now we're in the clear, and I've got really good health.
Well, great. I have really enjoyed this show. So tell everyone, well, I think you actually have told everybody how they can get a hold of you. So that's wonderful. We're going to have Adam back next week, and we're going to go into number 2 show. It's going to be called The Amazing Results Formula. So come back next week. Now, if you have questions, please contact me by heading over to my website at LorraineHoving.com. Here you can sign up for my email list to find out what is happening in my Never Too Late Ever world. I have one more question for Adam. What do you believe is the single most important character quality that produces resilience?
I think you have to be a tenacious implementer. You can't be somebody that sits and thinks about it and dreams up. It's okay to be a dreamer. It's okay to be a thinker. It's okay to be an analyzer, but take all that and implement tenaciously and go out there and just own your life.
Absolutely. Action. You're right. You're right. Thank you, Adam. I will see you back here next week. And remember out there, it is never too late. It is never too late to lose weight. Adam and I are examples that it can be done. You can do it too. It is never too late to go after your dreams. It is never too late to live a life of purpose. It is just never too late ever. Thank you, and we'll see you next week, Adam.
Bye-bye.